Hello, Scorpio. Nicholas Ashbaugh here. We have Apollo in the background, just getting settled in. I hope all of you are doing well. So let's get started here. First and foremost, this is for the month of April, but it will actually spill into June a little bit because all of my readings go about 4 to 6 weeks. You can also use this for sun, rising, and moon. Let's get started with channeled messages. As I meditated on your sign, what came through loud and clear was an image of a porcupine. And to me, this is a really powerful symbol. First of all, it represents the ability to defend yourself because all of those quills on a porcupine are there as a sort of method of self-defense. So if we were to break it down into like, what does it mean for you? It's increasingly important to state boundaries, establish them if they don't exist, and reinforce them if they do. And also to know when to sort of like, when to go to bat for something. So fight the good fight. But there's some times where it's just not worth the energy. So really making sure that you're assessing the situation and thinking, is it worth it, right? Now, because all of those modified hair follicles which make up the quills are called quills, I'm also thinking like old-fashioned writing, right? So this is also a time to get things in writing. And I like the whole idea of standing up for yourself, defending what matters. And so when it comes to a contract, a document, a negotiation, anything of that nature, it's really important to be your own best advocate. And if you need help, get someone to assist, a lawyer, a representative, etc. Making sure that you feel good about what's in front of you, saying no when you need to, creating, establishing, and reinforcing boundaries. Those are the big takeaways that I get with that particular symbol. Let's go ahead now, shuffle the cards, and see what else comes through. And if any of these messages intersect, I'll make sure to bring them up again. Take a moment, if you will. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself in a circle of light. Call into that circle angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. So the catalyst is a very powerful part of this reading. It helps you connect to necessary action. And you got 2 cards here coming through for it. The first of the 2 in the upright position says, grow your wishes. And the second one is to remember who you are. And this was reversed. We're going to take each one and talk about it a little bit. This one is really powerful because I mentioned I was picking up on the quill. So writing or sketching or blueprinting something out is going to be part of your manifestation plan should you choose to do it. But a plan or an idea or an intention is just that. It's like potential. What's necessary is, in this case, communication. Because when I think of the way a dandelion seed pod works, you sit there, you make a wish, and you blow on the seed pod. So breath, speech, this is what's going to bring the action into your life. You might have to speak up, for instance, in a place of work and say, I'm ready for this, or I want this, or help me get this. Because sometimes people are busy. They forget about your development, your needs. And so it's up to you to say, this is something that I desire. Also, never stop dreaming. Never stop reaching. At any given point in your life, you're never too old, you're never too young, you're never too experienced or inexperienced to basically put yourself out there and grow and learn something new. So continue to grow your wishes, to make new wishes, to explore different things. Okay, I think that this is the harder of the 2 cards to embrace. Sometimes we forget ourselves. We forget what we want, who we are, what we represent, what our dreams are, because parents, teachers, society in general tries to project something else on it. Sometimes even just protect us from failure. But if we're not allowed to try, then we're not going to grow. And if we're not allowed to try, we never know how far we're going to be able to ascend. So give yourself credit, allow yourself the opportunity to try, and even if you don't do it the first time, keep trying. That's how we learn. That's how we learn how to ride a bike, how to speak, how to do just about anything. Very rarely do you hit it out of the park on the first try. So don't let failure hold you back in any way, shape, or form. And if you've been kind of running on a script or a sort of pattern for a while, this month, this moment when you're looking at this video, Spirit's coming through and saying, well, what else? What else do you want? Remember what it was when you were a little kid. Remember that first dream, that first desire, that first ambition. Can we get back to it this month? Can we get back to it today? This is a moment to reclaim, to maybe even recover that piece of the past. And we'll see how that might align with everything else that we're seeing here. Okay, so very powerful energies coming through here. Again, keep wishing and don't forget who you are. Looking at the overall spread here, it looks like one of the big goals this month is balance, because we have the Six of Pentacles. We have World coming through in the environment, which is expansion energy, which we quite like. Three of Cups. Really good stuff, actually. We don't see Tower, Devil, or Ten of Swords here. I think this is going to be a great month for you. Emotions are running high, so I'll try to help you through that. And to that end, let's actually get started with the Two of Cups at the center. All right, the first message that comes through on this is really just to embrace your worthiness. Sometimes an opportunity can come knocking, whether it's a relationship, a job, or just something where you could, again, perhaps experience some growth and expansion. And there could be a part of you that thinks, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I deserve it. Invariably, in my own life experiences, when something comes through and the universe is presenting a great option, you are ready. There just might be something like fear, anxiety, or just a lack of confidence. And so that's something that you can work on if that resonates. For everyone else, there could be someone that comes through. This could be a relationship or a friendship, and you're not feeling it. You're not feeling the mutual affection or the reciprocity, and that's okay. You're allowed to just sort of say, this isn't for me. Especially if it's like a setup with a parent or a friend and they're like, you're going to love this person. You meet and you think they're nice, but they're not my cup of tea, to use a metaphor with, sort of cups. So it's okay to know yourself. It's okay to say no. Don't be afraid to do that. And also, don't settle for less than you're worth, less than what you want. This is a card of discernment when reversed. And that's basically what I get here. There could also just be an incoming friendship or love interest, and it takes you by surprise. You weren't looking, but it's coming nonetheless. Let's keep looking at the rest of the cards and see how that shakes down. All right, so we actually get what this person might be right on top of this, Knight of Cups. There could be a water sign coming in, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, and again, feels good. This is someone who might have an opportunity or an option to present to you, and it moves fast. Knights don't drag their feet. So I really do get an element of surprise when we look at these two cards because, again, this could be something that is offered. You have to take a step back and think, wait a second, I didn't expect that, and that's okay. This is also a time to fight for what it is that you want. Remember, I said with the porcupine, we don't want to fight all the time. We don't want to fight for everything, but there are certain things in our life that you have to kind of dig your heels in and say, you know what, this is what I stand for. This is what I want. And that's the wishing piece as well with Grow Your Wishes. So feel free and feel empowered to speak your desires into fruition. Let people know how you feel. Let people know what you want. I think that's so important so that things can kind of come through in the fashion that you want them to. But yes, if you're looking for love, there could be a new love interest. And we'll go a little deeper into that when I go into relationships. Let's look at your deep past. It's fantastic. Three of Wands is a card of manifestation. One thing that I like to remind folks with Three of Wands is it's important to make sure that you're looking in every direction. While we're talking, I'll grab the traditional card. It's one of the orange or yellow cards in the minor arcana, and usually that represents a very favorable or bright outcome. But one thing that I always like to say, besides looking in the right direction, is to make sure that you are not afraid to kind of meet someone halfway. Sometimes it's a bit of a passive card, and I think that when it is a little bit more active, and so when you're willing to meet the ships that are coming in on the shore, things can get done a little bit faster. So there's actually an opportunity this month for everything to sort of move forward if you want to. So here's your traditional illustration. We see someone gazing out into the distance, and we see 3 ships in the water. Like I said, it's just brilliant and bright, the color of the sun. So you may actually be even feeling a little bit more energy and intuition, and maybe even the opportunity comes through in the early morning. So this is a month not necessarily to sleep in. Go to bed earlier, see what comes through in the early hours of the morning. About the time that the sun starts to rise, things could start to come through. Taking that metaphor out, yes, we see someone looking here. What if he was looking there? What if he was looking in the other direction? He might miss it. So don't be so rigid in how something might show up that you might miss something even better or sooner, or again, just a different package than you expected. It's still what you need, just maybe not the way you thought, okay? And this 3 of Wands is almost cosmic, right? She's out in outer space. So the other thing that I would say is it could be even bigger. It could go even farther than you expect. And pardon the need to kind of censor the card here, but in the environment, we have the World, and that is a card that represents expansion. So I really do think something could not only go the distance, but be bigger than you thought. The tumbling point, the thing where you might miss it, is because you think it has to happen at this time, from this person, in this way, in this shape, in this form. Think bigger, think differently, allow yourself to explore all of the options that are presenting themselves, including this. Again, it could be someone coming through, boldly presenting an idea, and you're like, wait, this isn't the time or the shape or the form that I thought it should be, okay? Now let's take a look at your recent past. We have the Hierophant in reverse. So there could be things that are either disorganized or in disarray, or you want to change the system. You are thinking to yourself, I don't align with this. This organization doesn't work for me. And literally, it could be the organization of a document, or it could be like a place that you're working, a place that you're living, a religion that you're in. Something about the organization or the organizational structure needs to change. A reversed Hierophant is someone who kind of lives by their own rules. Notice how in this card, there are no disciples. It's just the Hierophant. So this is a time to lead, not follow. This is a time where other people may not even understand completely how or why you're doing it. But in the long run, the Hierophant is a card of wisdom. So you need to trust in the inner wisdom, and don't necessarily do it for popularity. Don't necessarily do it just to get the validation. Do it because it feels right. So if you feel a little rebellious, if you feel like you need to try a new path, a different direction, this card is validating that. Let's move to your crowning card. We have 8 of Pentacles energy coming through in the reverse position. In the upright position, it represents attention to details and also learning. This is an apprenticeship card. You can see here, though, that this person's really taking their time. So what we get with this is don't rush. Don't allow for something to go through to somebody before you feel good about this. So whether it's sending an email, completing a product or service, or even if you're creating something in your house like a repair, this is about not taking unnecessary shortcuts. This is also a card of learning, and what we see here is making sure that you practice and do the homework. It's really important in order to fully master whatever it is that you're trying to understand, to go 100% in, okay? So there's just a little gentle nudge there. And then in reverse, this can be editing or revising, getting that quill and saying, I got to change this. This isn't exactly what I need or want. It does represent being very close to the finish line, 80 or 90%, but there's a little bit of room for revision, expansion, and so it might be good to get a second set of eyes on something. Now, taking your time is very much a part of this card here. So we have the Temperance Angel reversed. And if we look at this, what I like is that we see a little snail at the center representing take your time. And in this one, the snail is right around the throat chakra. So slow down in particular when it comes to communication. We see 2 different cups. One is here and one is closer to the heart or the throat. But in the traditional illustration, I think it's easier to understand this. It's saying, I need to weigh out these two options, or I need to make sure that I'm okay before moving forward. Finding balance, finding that sense of belonging before you kind of jump into something else. Now, one step at a time, that's another piece that the Temperance card reminds us. And because we're in April already, this is a perfect card for that, because with all the spring flowers on it, I normally associate it with this month. So it feels like now is the time. Some of you have like 1 foot in the door, 1 foot somewhere else, and it's saying, are you in or are you out? And maybe it's time to sort of fully commit or fully exit something in order to see the progress that you're looking for, okay? But I don't want you to rush, and I don't want you to go to extremes, because that's basically what this card is suggesting, is to slow down and avoid extremes. All right, let's see how you're coming through this month. 3 of Cups, really optimal card, very optimal placement. This is a time, even though it might feel like you're balancing a lot, to get out there, to mix and mingle, to talk to new people. There should and there could be new relationships coming forth. It's nicely aligned with what we see here. 2 of Cups, Knight of Cups, 3 of Cups. So we have the core relationships, someone new, and it's kind of balancing all of this. So the question here is, are you allocating enough time for both new and existing relationships? Are you allocating enough time for yourself, because the Temperance Angel is reminding you to do that? Personalities, relationships, and even creative ventures this month, they're going to take up more of your time, and they're going to require just a little bit more, organization. And so you might need to get a better handle on the schedule and how you allocate everything. I think you can do it, especially as we look at this outcome card, but let's talk about the very exciting World card in the environment. The World card represents the ultimate in the major arcana. If we look at this version, since I don't have to edit it, we see that she's got all the tools at her disposal. She's able to see things from a bird's eye perspective, and all that's necessary is expansion. All that's necessary is to kind of like let it go. There's a little resistance here because this card was reversed. There might be this feeling of, why didn't I do it then? Or what about this? And the mind seems to be wandering just a little bit. It's kind of like this. We really want to allow it to expand, but not sort of wander. There is a difference. Focus on the horizon, focus on what's possible, and then allow yourself to go even a little bit bigger than that, but don't let the questions come in. Let the possibilities rush in, but not the questions. And that's one thing that I see. Some of you might be deciding to move on, move up, move out. Some of you could be broadcasting, publishing, somehow putting something out there to the world. You're also looking at the world from a different perspective. It was one way yesterday, and tomorrow it's different. And you could be looking at your family, your company, the place that you live. Something looks different. And it's like, oh, that changes my view. That changes my goals. And that's okay. It's okay to change it up. And it feels like it's time for many of you that are watching to kind of like move on, move up, move out, whatever the movement means for you. It could also just mean moving this into production after you make that one finishing touch. But only when you feel the time is right should you take that move. In hopes, fears, and opportunities, we actually have a dream, wish, or desire coming forth. But again, with the card in reverse, there is a need this month to let something go, an emotional sort of anchor in your life. It could be, again, one of the fears or anxieties. It could also be this feeling of being hurt. Maybe someone didn't treat you right. Maybe something didn't work out the way you wanted. But there's too much to embrace this month to let that get in the way. It's interesting that we have 2 plus 1. We have 3. So there's a couple things coming through. Again, there could be a new relationship. There could be a new opportunity. Both of these are alluring. And guess what the answer is? You don't have to do either or. It might just be a little bit of a juggling act this month. You can do it all. Maybe not forever, but this month you're being encouraged to kind of juggle some of the things that you like, potentially so you can figure out what best suits you. Because by the way, that is what this card is all about. Let me try this. Let me sample that. Let me test this out. It's like a buffet. And then whatever is sweetest, whatever resonates the most, you're like, let's go with that. That's why it comes through as a courtship card, because you're getting to know one another. But you can also use it as a courtship card for anything. Again, a place to work, a place to live, something that you want. You're going to try some different things out, like going to the store and trying on outfits. Does it fit? Does it suit you? You can be discerning if it doesn't. You can say, I don't like this or I don't want this. But some things are coming through for your better good, so give it a taste, give it a try. And you do deserve something wonderful. And that's what this Ace of Cups is coming through. Look at how many you got today. The Ace, the 2, the Knight, the 3, and even the Temperance Angel, she has 2 cups as well. Moving to the outcome, we have 6 of Pentacles, choices, and it's beautifully illustrated here. There's a reminder that you have more than enough with this, but you can't be everywhere at once. You can't do everything for everyone, or it kind of bankrupts your time and energy, right? Not to mention the bank account. So discernment is your number one friend this month. Saying yes when you mean it, saying no when you mean it, fighting for things that matter, not fighting for things that aren't worth your time. Choices. With proper choices, you'll have more than enough. There could also be something that you're kind of sitting on the fence and thinking, again, like the Temperance Angel, am I in or am I out? The sooner you make the decision, the sooner you can put your energy into something that you love. So being discerning, being decisive, setting those boundaries and limits, it's going to help you out so much. I do think you're going to end this month feeling like you've got this under control. I'm not sure if you heard him, but he was barking in his sleep. So if you hear any other noises, that's Apollo. We're going to expand this forecast and take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. This is going to assist us in getting a little bit deeper into all those categories that I know you guys love. We're going to start off first with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. In this area, we have creativity. You know, this is so powerful because of all of the cups cards that were upside down. So for many of you that might be processing joy, grief, or just heavy emotions, having a creative outlet for it is healthy. And anything that you really enjoy doing, it's up to you. What I love about this, and what I'm really kind of getting from this, is she's lost in the process. She doesn't let the emotions reign her. She's kind of just allowing it all to flow through and letting it go and just feeling this sense of zen. For any of you that are creative, whether it's writing, composing, painting, building, inventing, or whatever it might be, even just cleaning, doing things like that, have you ever gotten to the point where you just sort of like lose track of time? And whatever was on your mind before, it's gone, and you're like, oh my gosh, I've been having fun, or I've been in the flow, and whatever I was thinking of before, it doesn't feel so heavy anymore. Find something like that. Exercise is also something that's really good. Let something come into your life and sort of relieve you of having to hold on to those things. Allow the energy to flow through you. Don't be like a dam where it's kind of built up and it has to burst through. Create ways for that sort of release valve to happen. All right, let's look at this from the perspective of health. First thing off the bat, I really noticed that there is a lot of relationship energy. Knight of Cups, 2 of Cups, Ace of Cups, 3 of Cups. So we have balancing that out, whether that's your friends, your family, a new love or sort of like person in your life that requires more time and energy. Could be all of the above. It's important to make sure that you're giving just enough but not too much, making sure that you're happy as well. We also see the ability to make change happen here with the 3 of Wands. So if you set your mind to something, you can do it. I think the area where some of your energy might be going too much could be in being a perfectionist, working too much, also maybe just putting too much attention into the written word. So maybe you're consuming or screens and devices nowadays. So this could be social media overload, news overload, or just information overload. So we have a card here associated with getting organized and having patience, getting out and socializing a little bit more. This could also be an absence of friends, loved ones, etc. So get out into the real world, let go of some of the devices, don't work so much, create a little bit more balance in your life. Temperance in reverse is just general impatience or the sort of tendency to go to extremes, having too much fun or working too much. Everything in moderation, that's really what I see here, and finding a creative outlet in your life. If anything's out of balance, this is the month to create that balance. And you might just be seeking groups that have a more open mind, because this is a very conservative card. So finding a place where you can be freer, more creative, more yourself. Generally speaking, pretty good. Again, with this one, this is more about just happiness and mental health, but don't lose yourself. Remember who you are, what it is that you want. Now is the time to really lean into that. All right, in case you wondered, I'm putting on a shirt so you can see me against the background because it's going to get dark and I'm going to disappear in the background. All right, one other thing before we go into wealth. I thought about the porcupine as I was grabbing this shirt, and I thought, the porcupine in this could also be, for some of you, like the Ten of Swords. There could be acute pain, or there could just be something that's kind of getting under your skin. And I think having a way to discuss that or having an outlet, therapy, by the way, could also be a way to kind of let some of this out. This is one last message that came through. All right, now let's move into wealth. This is your resources, your life purpose, and your career. And in wealth, what we have here is time. I'm doing this right on the precipice of a full moon, so this is beautifully timed. At the center, it almost looks like a pentacle, right? As we're looking at this, that's forming. So it may take longer than you think. It could also happen faster than you think. Your fixation on the when takes you away from the how or the why. That's the big sort of download here. So release the need to have it done in X amount of time. Know that the universe is already aligning synchronicities to help you get it done the right way. And I think this month in particular, before we even break this down into smaller pieces, it's who you work with. It's if you like it. It's the sense of feeling like you're taking steps in the right direction. These are more important than the when. It's also being able to juggle a few things without getting lost or distracted. Finding balance and making sure that you're not overextending yourself, even if it takes another month. Okay? So that's one thing that I'm picking up on. Let's go a little deeper now. We'll look at 5 categories here within wealth. Let me give the cards a shuffle, and I'll say them as we look at the cards. So we'll start off with those of you that currently are employed. Then we're going to look at anyone that owns their own company, followed by job seekers. Then, that's a really good card for job seekers, by the way, followed by students, and then retirees. I'm liking what I see here. We're going to start off first with those who have a current job. We have a reversal of the lovers. There's a big theme this month. Don't put yourself second. Don't settle for less than your desire. You have almost every card that I would associate with love, joy, and happiness, but they're all coming through with a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of doubt or whatever. This is one of the most magnetic cards that you can pull in the major arcana or in the entirety of the deck. I mean, other cards that are just as magnetic might be like the sun, because it can pull things into its orbit, but this is pretty darn good. So if you want it this month, you can make it happen, but the way to make it happen actually is through who you know. It's all about relationships this month. And then also just kind of your heart. So if you love it, if there's passion, it becomes something that is undeniable. Other people are like, I love your passion. I love your attitude. I love your smile, whatever it is. They're drawn to the heart. And then you can work with those people that are drawn to that, and together you can make it happen. So it is love. Love is stronger. Love will help you get what you need, but it's also like loving what you do, loving who you're working with, leaning into those relationships that are coming forth. If someone offers help, say, yes, let's do this together. Choose wisely, but it looks like you're already starting to attract higher partnerships, okay? Looking at this from the perspective of those of you that are in a company, what's the challenges, et cetera, at the moment? Just a lot of people. There could be a lot of people that want different things from you. And you have to say when or no or if, like what it is that you want to do. Because I actually think you have a chance to kind of hit something out of the park this month, but there's a lot of eyes on you. The Knight of Cups, Two of Cups, and Three of Cups in particular. And there's a nice reward here. This represents a dream that might come true, but all this balancing has to happen. And I like that you have 2 really good resource cards this month. I think it's just a matter of managing a lot of people. And you might have to get out there and get out of your shell a little bit, right? When we look at the Temperance card, that shell over her throat is saying, it's okay, I'm going to start to speak up. I'm going to start to share what I want, what I don't want, etc. There could be a chance also for transferring or moving. Things are going to move into production mode pretty quickly. Don't do it alone. I think leaning into this larger group is going to really help you out and save you from being exhausted in the long run. All right, let's take a look at what's coming through for entrepreneurs. I like the Knight of Pentacles here. What's missing is the actual horse in the night. So it feels like everything's set up, but for some of you, there's this decision to actually go for it. Do the research that you need to. Make sure that the resources are there, because the Six of Pentacles can show that you might need to get a little bit more resources, or you might be weighing out, is this the right time? Can we afford it? But generally speaking, this is a good card. I'm going to go back to this for you, which is just look in a different direction. So there's more than one way to get it done. We're in a time now, particularly if you have a business that has production, where you might need to look to a different shore. So you may have always had work done in one area, you're looking for a different one now. So finding different paths, it can still be done, but it's you have to kind of get creative with it. The other thing here is to lead the charge and lead the way. So there may actually be no template for where you're at in this moment in time. And so going now back to the Hierophant card reversed, it's saying, I have to think outside of the box. We're in uncharted territory. So I'm going to go back to the drawing board and do something different, do something unique. One of the best things that I see for entrepreneurs in this period of time is it feels like you have good, sort of like you've done a good job with customers or with the people that you work with. This is a lot of goodwill with the Two of Cups, Knight of Cups, Three of Cups, and Ace of Cups. Lean into that. Have events that show that you're grateful for the people that are there every step of the way. Again, both employees and customers. Take some time for yourself too. You're juggling a lot. Have some fun. This is a card of celebration. Celebrate the little victories. And yeah, there are some things that are challenging, but you'll be all right. There could be some losses or some trade-offs between the Eight of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles, but you're still standing with this card. So I feel like you can make the right choices, the right compromises, the right pivots in order to still feel like you've got this. Patience is key with the Temperance card. I also think like research is key. And then once you have that, take action. All right. Overall, pretty good. Not a lot of things that make me take pause. The World card in the reverse is saying look in a different direction for sure. So it could just be a different geographical location. You might be deciding to expand your company. You might be deciding to relocate it. You might be looking at different areas where you could produce goods or services. The reversal of this shows that things are happening quickly. All of this kind of makes sense in the current world environment. So we have to look in different directions. And again, that's already part of this, because if you're only focusing there, but you miss here, here, or here, there might be more ships coming in. So you have to kind of open your heart, open your mind to different things. Good month overall. Okay, by the way, one last thing we have here, time. So you might also be adjusting time, like launches or even like delivery windows, to make sure that you're not overextended. All right, let's move on to the next category. I mentioned if you're a job seeker, this is optimal. We have High Priestess energy coming through. She's creative, she's insightful, and she manifests her belief. So it's also really important to believe in what's possible. Like, I can do this. Is it challenging? Yes, but I can do this. And it's also important to lean into creativity, which we got for health. So for some of you, this is more aligned to something that makes you happy. You know, you're deciding to go in a new path that just feels right for you. Also, this is paying attention to things before they come to pass. So some of you might be noticing, this is a change in the industry, or this is the next step for me. It feels right. It looks right. I can see it. And you're remembering who you are and what you stand for. If you're going to make a change, if you're job seeking, this time around, from the onset, it needs to be good. You shouldn't have to convince yourself, I'll do this, I guess. No, it needs to feel right. Now, there are some things that we might do temporarily, just to kind of like stay on our feet. I get that. But if we're looking for a long-term pivot or the next big thing, there really needs to be an alignment, okay? So I'm acknowledging that sometimes there's things to tide you over, but sometimes when you're really serious about making the shift, you have to really pay attention. Okay, if you're job seeking, here's what I see. It is 110% about who you know this month. All of these represent people, groups of people, individuals. So I really want you to network. Go to events. You don't have to pay. Anything that you can do where it's related to your field, now's the time for grassroots sort of efforts and meeting new people. Lean on existing relationships and ask for help. And again, I mean, this is one of the biggest cards for location. You might be deciding, I'm going to go somewhere else. City, state, country, province, change, whatever feels right for you. You may also kind of go the route of an entrepreneur because this is saying, I think I can do it. Maybe I'm going to self-publish. Maybe I'm going to open an Etsy shop. Maybe I'm going to do something that hasn't been done and I'm a self-starter. So all that's necessary for that is the resources. So really run the numbers. But I already see the desire and the vision there. And that could be kind of a part of what we see here as well. Okay. Moving on to students. We have the Page of Pentacles coming through. This is really ideal for those of you that are studying right now or thinking of signing up for a class. To that end, what we see here in the crowning position, again, is representing school. Now, what I said earlier is really important, which is avoid perfectionism. This is really a time to absorb what you can. And if there's ever a time in your life that you can make a mistake, it's now, because you're supposed to be taking calculated risks, putting yourself into positions where it's like, okay, I can fail and I can learn from that and I can expand and get kind of a thicker skin, and in the future I'm going to be okay because I've already seen what it's like to try this or try that. So experiment a little bit, especially when it comes to whether it's a creative endeavor or just trying something where you're like, I don't know if I'm good at public speaking or painting or writing, but I'd like to try. Whatever your path is, go for it. Don't hesitate, because we do see a great card here that allows you, if you just kind of throw yourself in, to learn more and do better than you think you might be able to, okay? Biggest challenge is just making sure that you're not overextended. Biggest temptation this month could be partying or family or relationships. So while it might be really good for everyone else, one thing I want you to keep in check is the social life. If you're maybe on one extent or the other here, or one extreme, it's either not enough or too much, so everything in moderation. There could also just be this desire to have a more open-minded curriculum or teacher or advisor. Seek it out if you need it. I am all for studying abroad. I wish I had done it more than one semester. I spent about maybe like 8 or 9 months in London when I was between undergraduate and graduate. But I wish that I had done it like every other semester in school, because you learn so much. So I encourage that if that's something that you want. Okay. Otherwise, these cards look great and it feels like you have a good semester ahead. Moving on to retirees, we have the Moon card in reverse. In this particular illustration, again, there's a lot of symbols around the throat chakra. We see the moon right over the throat. If there's something that you need to say, allow it to come through. But there are a couple things that I want to point out on the traditional card that can kind of help us figure out what that conversation might be. All right, if we look at the traditional card, you'll notice that there's like a wolf and a coyote, and then there's this lobster. So the lobster represents fears or dreams or anxieties or emotions that are coming to the surface. We want to let them go. We want to deal with them. We don't want to run from them. So that's one thing that this card is saying. There could be unnecessary competition or unnecessary distractions. That's what these two are doing. They're howling at the moon. Meanwhile, there's a path between them that's saying, if you can avoid heavy emotions, getting in your head too much, worrying too much about what other people are saying or doing, you can make a lot of progress this month. And in fact, all of this clamoring and stuff could be from friends, from family, from loved ones. And maybe you want a little bit of alone time, a little bit of me time, and that's really what's coming through here. If there is something that comes to the surface, maybe someone shares a secret or a desire, then again, meeting it head on and saying, okay, this is unexpected, but let's talk. I'm so glad you brought it up. That way, again, once that's dispelled, once that's dealt with, you can move forward and move onward to other things. Other things that I see here, if you're ready for it, there's an opportunity to travel. It depends on resources and time. If you want it, there's definitely a lot of energy around love and relationships. I think the biggest challenge is to let go of old habits. The Hierophant is stubborn. Temperance is impatience personified. So I think if you can be more patient with yourself, if you can find a way to let go of old habits and just try something new. Again, when we look at the traditional temperance card, the angel has 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land, and it's just saying, I'm going to test the water. I'm going to see how I feel about this and then move forward. This is a month to experiment. All right, let's move on to love and relationships. It looks pretty good. This is the one area that's shining brightly. So focus on feeling like I can find this success. We can make this work. And remember, the most successful and important relationship is the one you have with yourself. So you may be deciding this month, I really need to do something that I love. Hopes, fears, and opportunities. We need to get this ace in the upright position. So this is a time to make sure that you're not putting yourself second. And I think for some of you, it's just too many things going on at once, or too many people trying to put their own sort of wishes and desires out there. You've got to be happy at the end of the day. Let's take this into 3 categories and see what additional messages are coming forth. Those of you in a relationship, those of you that are looking for love, and single and happy. They're all great. Fantastic, in fact. We're going to start off first with those of you that are currently in a relationship. So the 8 of Cups could represent a trip that you're planning to take, something that you've been putting off, and it's coming around again, and this is the time to do it. Love it. There could also be a decision to start or stop something, because this is very cyclical. Like, hey, let's cut this out, or let's really embrace this. So I'm using we because hopefully it's a together sort of thing where you're communicating and making it work. With respect to travel, sometimes this card can be frustrating because there could be sporadic time that you're spending with your partner. So they're there for a lot, and then they're gone for a lot, and then it kind of ebbs and flows, and it's hard to predict. So maybe what you're looking for is a little bit more of steadiness, a little bit more together time. Finally, if there's a major decision that you need to make, sleep on it, step back, get a big picture, make sure that you're understanding it from your partner's perspective. We do have success here, so I feel like you can sort it out. Challenges and opportunities in the existing relationships. I love that we have so much love here. I love that in the past we have the 3 of Wands, which means you charted out a lot of things together, perhaps before even stepping into the relationship. But guess what? Life throws us curveballs. And for some of you, there's big changes on the horizon. But if you can view it as an adventure, because this is an adventurous and a multitasking 3 of Cups, and if you can think of, like, I've got my best friend with me, we can make this work, then it's going to be fine. The pressure points this month is your partner may need more than you can give, or you may both be in a point where you need something, so you might need to ask someone else for some assistance. General sort of conservative and when I say conservative, it's like just trying to stick with what's always worked. It's stubborn. It's in the past. So this month, being willing to try different things can help avoid arguments and can help you get ahead so much. Patience, really, really key. And again, I think both of you are busy and working. So just meeting in the middle and making sure that you have enough time together. Okay? Overall, really good cards, really good energy, and we have success kind of lighting this all up. All right, let's move on now. For those of you that are looking for love, we have the Queen of Cups. So much water. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. We even got the moon in this, like every possible water card. So it feels like there's a water energy coming forth for you. If you're ready, I feel like this can come in. The only thing that we saw that could create a little bit of a challenge for you again is existing relationships and maybe pushing things too far too fast. Because you already have a success card here and a success card here. Now we have, again, stubbornness or impatience or coming on too strong. Take a step back. Allow this to come to you. Allow things to fall into place rather than trying to orchestrate or force them. That's the one piece of advice. How can you meet people in existing friendships? Like, it feels like you could just go to a friend's house, go to a work gathering, because we have cards associated with work, and it's an organic meeting. And the person that's coming in, I don't feel like there's someone that you know. It's like 2 or 3 steps down the friend line, like a friend of a friend of a friend or something like that. And they may have a very different background than you do, either just, point of view and interest, or maybe even from a different part of the world. Be open-minded. Open-mindedness is going to be good for everybody, but particularly if you're looking for love. All right, moving on to single and happy. Yes, you are. 9 of Cups is a card of wish fulfillment. It's a card of joy. It's right in alignment with 3 of Cups, and it's saying, let's have some fun. Maybe you're planning a party. Maybe you're planning a vacation. Maybe you're just enjoying life right now. This card is validating you're exactly where you need to be. Okay? We still do get the multitasking energy this month. I feel like if you're ready to receive even more, you can get it. An interesting thing here is whether or not you're looking for love, partnership abilities are really high this month. So in business, in friendship, in just general life, you can get more done together with other people. They can help you level up. And it feels like, again, there could be someone really pivotal coming in, a contact, an advisor, a mentor, or again, love. Even if you don't look for it, I see it in this spread. There's so many cards. I got just about every Cups card. I also got the Lovers. Only thing missing is Four of Wands. Otherwise, it's like every partnership card. So it's a good time to meet people, and it's a great time to travel. And it's a great time to take something and put it out there in the world. All right? Let's now go to your Destiny card. Beautiful energy here. Speaking of that, what do we have? Yet again, commitment. I mean, is the universe trying to tell us something here? I think so. First of all, this could just be about signing on the dotted line. You might be buying a house, buying a car, selling a house or selling a car. You're making a commitment. I want this or I don't want this. Contracts are involved both ways, even in a divorce. Whatever it is, a signature. And I saw that with the quill at the very beginning. Fight for what you need if you are doing a contract. That's why the porcupine came up. This is also about, again, building something together. We see nesting energy here. You might also be looking at making sure that your living environment feels a little bit more comfortable, really settling into a new friendship or love interest in your life, okay? I love that both of these birds, it's the crows deck here, both of the crows are 50-50. They're both giving their part of the equation. No one is really lacking in this, okay? Now is a chance for you to look at one final question. It could be anything where you still need some guidance. Let's see what Spirit has to say. Close your eyes, ask the question, and I'm pulling the card as we speak. Okay, very interesting energy here. The Four of Cups represents something that isn't as expected. So we have the cup hiding back here. She's focusing on what's in front of her, and she's a little bit annoyed. So being open again to receive, but possibly to receive it in a different way, shape, time, or form. That's been a common message this month. I'm going to pull the traditional one while we speak. Other things that are a part of this, don't compare yourself to others. You don't know what they're going through. They don't know what you're going through. It's wasted time and energy. You can get inspired by someone else. You can research how they made it happen. But your life is your life. Their life is their life. And so what we see here is that floating ace, but this person's only focusing on what they can see. There's something beyond. There's something within reach. It's not there yet, but you can make it happen. So reach for what's good for you. Focus on, back to the beginning here, who you are, what you want. Don't forget about that, and know that once you say, I'm just going to make this work. I'm going to go for this. I'm not going to get upset. I'm going to get inspired. That's when things shift. But there may be a little bit of a feeling of malaise. If you asked a yes or no, it's a not yet. You're missing something. You need to take a step back. There might be something bigger or better once you have a chance to collect your thoughts. Look at it from all angles and get someone else to help you see it if you can. And for everyone else, again, just a hidden blessing. Something may not work the way you want, and it's going to be followed up shortly by something that will. All right? And that's everything. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your journey this month. You have so many choices here on YouTube. It's my honor and privilege to be able to help you out. Whether you're a longtime viewer and you've never subscribed or you're brand new, now is a great time to show support simply by hitting that subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything. And really all it's going to do is tell you if I go live or I post something new. So it's a great way to keep in touch. Everybody, you can hit the thumbs up if you like this and leave a comment. Let me know what resonated most. Not only does that help other people discover this, but I love to hear about your journey. That's why I'm showing up, is to help you. So keep me posted and let me know how it's all working out throughout this month. You can follow me on social media for additional reminders. My full name is basically my handle on all major platforms. So Nicholas Ashbaugh, spelled just like this. On Blue Sky, it's basically my website, nicholasashbaugh.com. And of course, that's where you can go for more news and info. If you'd like to show some additional love and support, you can become a member. I'm starting to do some unique videos just for members now. So that's a great way to give and also to receive. And you can also give back with a super like, super sticker, super chat, etc. Those sorts of things allow me to do podcasts and all the other extra videos that you see on this channel. It's all with your love and support. Remember, I don't give any private readings, nor do I use any direct messages. So if you see that, be wise, block and report. And that, my friends, is everything. Thank you for being the absolute best part of what I do here on YouTube. Thanks for your patience in allowing me to do this in the timing that I needed. I was traveling a lot a couple months ago because of the wildfires. I got sick, and it's taken me a bit to catch up. We'll get there this month, but I'm always about quality over rushing. So when you get it, it'll be fine, and it still helps you out those 4 to 6 weeks. Again, thank you so much. Have a great month ahead, and I'll see you soon.